Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? I didn't even get my microphone near me. Oh my gosh. It's one of those days where things are different than I expect them to be sometimes. I guess sometimes that's kind of like every day, but hopefully you guys hear me. Let me know if you do. I didn't even check my settings because I'm like, oh, I'm late. I gotta get this show on the road. If you don't know, this is Marsh Makes Comics, and today we're going to talk about making comics is easy, or is it? I heard somebody say making comics is easy this week, and I'm like, interesting. So we'll talk about it. Let's see. Looks like I know my camera's working, and it looks like the audio's working too. Okay, good. We're gonna get into some stuff here. I'll say hello to everybody, and we'll get into the topic a little bit later. But we're gonna, I got some stuff to show off, and also hello to everybody on Facebook. I'm not doing the TikTok live streaming today, but I don't plan on doing it. But it's just so easy to click the Facebook one when you're on StreamYard. So I was like, yeah, let me just throw it on Facebook too. So we got Ronnie in the house. What's up, Crimson Owl Comics? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. I saw you message me on TikTok, but I didn't have time to get to it. Sorry about that. It just happened like I don't know, like an hour ago, and I was like busy working on trying to get this set up, and then other things going on, and it's just been one of those days, man. But hello. Martial law is now in effect. Yes, that is true, Sideburns. Thanks for coming by, man. Lizello is up. Good afternoon, Marsh and everyone. Good afternoon. Glad to see you here. And we got Ralph here. What is up, Ralph? Hi, Marsh. Hi, everyone. Hello to you, sir. Mighty Geek Studios. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And thank you for coming by. Michael Heng is in the house. What's up? Evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. And Maria Petrario. Hi, everyone. Voice sounds good. Thank you. Thanks for coming by. Daniel Goodwin. Hey, everyone. What's up, dude? You still killing it with those comics, man. I hope you're getting some good sales and everything. Because I know you kind of just launched those comics. Everybody check out Daniel Goodwin's stuff on Instagram. And everybody else here, too. There's so many awesome people here who do awesome stuff. Rob Hodge, Mike War, SOTL represent. Yes, thanks for coming by. Yes, Mike War. Did Disciple X does he still have any sites up or anything? That forum used to be fun. And yeah, I don't know if you know, you probably do, but there's new Shadow of the Locust music that just came out. So you should check it out if you haven't. And I put out a couple things too. So yeah, anyways, hope you're doing well, sir. And thanks for coming by. All right, so let's start showing off some stuff. Went to my mom's house this weekend, and so was it this weekend or I don't know, it was recently. And when I go to my mom's house, I mean, she's been into this art stuff like lately, and I end up getting all kinds of stuff because she keeps buying materials, and she's like, well, if I like it, Marsha's gonna like it, so she gets me some too. So because of her, I have stuff to show off. Plus, there's a bunch of other stuff. I'll show you first something I bought that just came out. Bam! Lady Satan by Lucifer Storm, also known as Fue Storm, and Christian Rossi. Finally, this thing came out. I'm so excited for it. I mean, I've seen behind the scenes this whole thing come together for years, and it's so amazing, and they're well on their way of working on the second one. There's going to be 3 total in the first in this series. I don't want to spoil anything, but there will be 3 in this series. And man, this when Lucifer, also known as Flea Storm, does a comic, you should pay attention because he makes really great work. And the quality of this, like, he's going for a bit of an outlaw comics type of vibe. And it's like a crime story, crime noir type thing, but it gets deep, and actually, I haven't read it yet, but I know all about the story because I talk to him like every day. So um but yeah, I don't know, like, you guys should check him out, luciferstorm.com or reloadcomics.co.uk. I'm not I know that works. Yeah, that should work. I'm pretty sure he has both sites up, but I think you can buy this comic on both sites. I'm not 100% sure because he's still just fulfilling the original Indiegogo for it. Actually, he's done. He's already sent it all out, which is awesome. But if it's not on his website to purchase yet, I'm sure it will be on there very soon, because he's really diligent about getting stuff out, getting it out on time. And this particular book is an exception to that, but he came through. And I know that to all the backers, he gave so much extra stuff to make up for the delay. But every other book, when he was doing Ed Gein Demon Hunter and stuff, he was killing it, and he got that stuff out. He always gets stuff out super quick. He just sent this to me like I don't know, like a week ago, and I'm surprised it's even here because he's in the UK and I'm in America. So it was really quick. But yeah, I mean, the art in here, Christian Rossi, so good. And it's just, I already know it's a good story, but I can't wait to read it. I just got it yesterday, and like I said, today's been so busy I haven't even gotten a chance to read this book, but I'm looking forward to it. If you've read Ed Gein Demon Hunter, I mean, it's going to be more of that, but on a whole different level. So yeah, check it out. And then there's this sticker there's other stuff that came with it. I got some like other stickers, but I love this sticker. It's so cool. I'm going to put it on a sketchbook right now. Let's see if I can get it in focus. This is also by Christian Rossi. There we go. So I love how it's cut out even in the middle there. So I'm going to put that where's my sketchbook? I'm going to put that on my sketchbook right now. Let's do it. It's hard to peel these things sometimes, but hopefully it won't take me all night to peel a sticker. But yeah, I mean, and again, this same image is in this print, and it's really well colored too. I'm pretty sure Christian Rossi colored it. There's a little bit too much reflection because I don't have it out of the bag right now, but yeah, really cool stuff. But I wanted to put this on my sketchbook kind of while I was here with you guys. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I'll do it later. I'll put it in a TikTok when I do the video, just because it's hard to peel away. But I want to put it like right here on this sketchbook. I think it'll look cool there. And on the other side of the sketchbook is I was looking through my mini comics this week because I got this like little those little plastic like things with drawers or whatever that you can get at like Walmart and everywhere else. We found some of those on the side of the road, and so I cleaned one of them up, and I finally have my mini comics organized. They were just in a box before, so now they're all organized by size, and it's just nice to have like a really nice. I've never had a good spot for my mini comics, and this was perfect. So, but anyways, Afloto, who was on in the chat last week, Aflota, he's like, a long time art buddy. And I don't know if this website still exists, but anyways, I found some of his comics, which I knew were there, but his mini comics. And let's see. There we go. And I also found the sticker, so I'm like, oh, that's going on a sketchbook. I love it. So offloadadraw.blogspot.com. Let's see if that is still a website that works. It'd be awesome if it's also updated. Let us see. Do. Blogspot. Oh, offloadadraw. Blogspot. Remember Blogspot? I mean, a lot of people used to have Blogspot sites. I haven't been on one in a long time. Ooh, it's still up. And let's see. The last post was January 31, but let's take a look at his work here. Present, share screen. Let's see. Here we go. Offloadadraw. Share. All right, so here we go. It's a cool little site. I wish he was keeping up with it, but maybe he went to a different blog site, or who knows. But I mean, look at his style. Lick it. He's got such a cool, like, cartoony kind of underground comics type style, I guess. I love it so much. And, it's kind of never ending. Like, he's just got tons of cool stuff. There's Slimer. Slime time. So, yeah. I'll put the link in the chat. Let me do that real quick. So y'all can check it out. Offloada's blog. Hey, Kodak's here. What's up? Kodak is part of the Shadow of the Locust crew and just a good old friend who I make music with, and we're gonna make a project soon. I'm gonna do like specific. I'm telling you right now, Kodak, because you're here. I want to make some specific beats for your project. Like, I'm looking forward to like doing something interesting. So I didn't mean to not respond or talk yet too much, but we're gonna make something cool. And he also makes awesome beats, and he can scratch, and he's just an awesome dude all around. So Kodak is the man. Let's see. Offloada's blog. Let's see. Shit. What is it? Is it Control-y? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, this is Kodak here. I'm going to catch up with the rest of the chat soonly, and then I'm going to show some more of this art from Offloada real quick. But you guys can check out the link now. Is in the chat. This is awesome. Looks like he's doing some cartoon modern styles in some of this, and he's just, I mean, look at this. He's just never ending, like, awesome art. Oh, there he is. I love it. And his family. That's cool. So I hope he's still making comics, and maybe he'll come on here sometime today. So yeah, just figured I'd share with you guys a little bit of that. Stop screen. So I was happy to see that I have a sticker here that I could mess with. So anyways, Lady Satan, Offloada. Let's get to some more showing off some more stuff. I'm going to put this over here because I'm going to maybe jump into it a little bit later. And this, you guys saw Dede Willingham sticker and other people's. I still haven't done anything else in this sketchbook, but that's okay. I'm going to get to it. I started 2 sketchbooks. I started another sketchbook, so it is what it is. Let's get to some tools here. This is like the stupidest like tool showing ever, but I got a big pack. I think we got these from BJ's, but they were on sale or something, and I was like, sure, I'll take them. When you always need some more black Sharpies. I could have got the color ones, but I have like all the color ones, and I don't use them that often. So anyways, here's the I got a bunch of Sharpies. It's not like they ever go out of use, right? So Well, I guess I can show the sketchbook because so this one is the same as this one. My mom got me like she got a bunch of stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." She's like, "You could have it. You could have both of them." I'm like, "Okay, I'll take them." So this is the it's Concertina Sketchbook, Sea White of Brighton. It's an accordion style sketchbook. So I don't know. She might have got it online or something, but this is the first one, and it's kind of cool because it comes in this little like black slipcase, I guess. But I don't know that I need that. But it's kind of cool. You just slip it in, and you can kind of throw like a pen in here because there's like a gap. You know, if it has like one of those hangy things. Like she gave me this Sharpie too, so I think I can fit that in here. Yeah, so you could just bam. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to do that because I don't really care about having it in a case thing, but I don't know. You get those kind of things packaged or whatever, and you want to find a use for them. But anyways, I did this on, I don't know if you guys know, I was on the Artcasters this Sunday night, and I did this little sketch here using reference from this. It's still in front of me. National Geographics. So yeah, I still want to like redraw it because I feel like I could do an even better job, but there's so many good pictures in here. It's insane. Like, so that's another thing my mom hooked me up with. Was like, I always know that National Geographic is like a great place for reference, and she's also getting them for like scrapbooking purposes, which I also love that too for like mixed media. So I got a stack. I took half of her stack. I was like, I want some, and she's like, you could have all of them, but I was like, I'm not gonna take all of them, but I mean, there's just so many good pictures in National Geographics that can be used for various things. And I think getting magazines like this for like reference and for mixed media and stuff is like better than Google, you know. I know one thing though, like a lot of these pictures are very much copyrighted and stuff, but I don't know. That doesn't mean you can't find ways to use them still, because there still is that if it's a transformative work, I think collage work usually falls under that if you transform it enough. So yeah, anyways, this is my first time having like an accordion style, you know, sketchbook, so it's fun. And it goes both ways. So I did this little sketch observational drawing, and so yeah, I'm excited. I got two of them to mess with, so that's fun. Alterna Comics, Horus H. Hoover. I have the first one. I ordered this, I don't know, months ago, but you know, I think it was on pre-order. So I already read the first one. It was pretty good, and I'm glad to have the second one. This is a cool book. It's kind of quirky and goofy type of book, and I feel like what's his name? I forget. Fabrizio, yeah, Fabrizio Aiello or something. I feel like he has a bit of a Todd McFarlane line to his work, but he doesn't draw. It doesn't look like Todd McFarlane, but I can see like in some of the details, it reminds me of like Todd McFarlane textures and stuff. So I don't know. I like that, but he's also just a really good artist and got a quirky idea, which is really cool. And look at the center page spread or whatever. So good. And yeah, I don't know. So I meant to look up this guy. When I read it, I'm going to look this guy up because that art is cool too. So I'm looking forward to reading this bad boy. Didn't get to it yet. Another thing my mom, she had doubles of was this. I didn't even open it up yet, but canvas pad. So, you know, I've had one of these before, but it's been a long time, and I don't think I used it. So hopefully I'll use this one. um, and then I got this. She gave me this big one too. This is 11 by 14 sketchbook. It's huge, and it's mixed media pad, but it's kind of like it's very thick paper. Um, well, pretty thick. It's almost like it might even be as thick as Bristol board, and it's got texture to it as well. So that's something I'm looking forward to messing with. Make some more big type of art that I don't typically do. So it'll be fun to play in that realm at some point. So yeah, and oh yeah, she gave me like this thing, which is like it's cool. It's got like these little like I don't know what they're called, but they're just like little threads, like plastic threads or something, so you can put things in and out of them. So that's cool. And then also just these blending brushes, I guess. And I think they're kind of used for makeup sometimes, but if you could feel this, it's like super soft, and I guess it's good for blending different things, maybe graphite, maybe watercolors or paint. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody use them. I got to look up some videos, but they could come in handy. So she got like this whole huge pack of them. I took 3. So yeah. And then, it doesn't hurt to have another thing to hold, hold stuff. And again, the Sharpie, it's just kind of a chisel tip Sharpie. It looks more fancy than it is, but yeah, cool. Oh, I guess what it does, it marks on wet and oily surfaces. So there's a specific use case for them, I guess. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll take it. And then this I bought. Actually, it comes in a pack of 3, but this is like a tablet for. Let me see. I don't want to show anything of any personal nature, but this is Procreate Pocket, and it's just a little thing to draw with. So yeah, you can't even see it because it's too bright. So if my camera would focus correctly, you could see some stuff, but it doesn't want to. So I was watching there's some people on TikTok. There's one guy, that dude Severe, I showed you guys. He does drawings on the phone sometimes, and I wish my like iPad pen could draw on my phone, but it can't. So I got those. They weren't too expensive. They're I think they were $20 for 3 of them, and then they come with I think 6 other tips or something. So and it's Hansky. Hopefully it'll focus here somewhere. Focus. Oh. No. Anyways, it's Hansky. It's Honsky. $20 for 3 pens with, 6 additional tips. So really, you get 9 tips altogether, and that's the important part, really, because the tips will eventually they will eventually wear out and stuff, I guess, if you use them a lot. But I also saw somebody was doing like mixed media collages with Procreate, and they said they use Procreate Pocket and do them on their phone. And I'm like, wow, how do you do that? But what I realized is, I don't know if you guys ever try to draw with your finger, but it's like one of the most awkward, uncomfortable things, and you can't see what you're drawing, and it's not fun. So I'm like, I need some kind of stylus, for my phone, because I want to play around, and I know they're not too expensive, but it's hard to find a good one, I guess. But I looked up some reviews, and they said the Hansky ones, and there's a different kind that is out of stock, but this kind was not. So I'm thinking this is the same kind, but it seems to work fine. I dig it. So um, I went to a flea market. We kind of go to the flea market relatively often. Once every maybe once a month sometimes. Anyways, there's always different every so many different people at this flea market end up having at least a small box of comics or whatever. And you know me, I'm going to be looking at the comics. And if I can get them for a cheap price, a lot of times they sell them for too much, and they don't know how much the stuff is worth or not worth, really. Because they're not comic people, they're just people selling whatever they have. But I got these were all $2 each, so I got $10 worth of $2 comics. So yeah, I don't know. I thought this was cool. If it has a cool cover, I kind of go for it. And I love this old. I guess this would be Bronze Age or Silver Age. I don't know, but the art in here is really cool, actually. So let's see who the artist is. Pencils by George Tuska, who I don't know anything about. I know the Mike Esposito, yeah, right. As the inker, Mike Frederick, writer, Denise Vladimir, letterer, and so on and so forth. Roy Thomas, editor. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I dig it. I love old comics. This one kind of looks a little Kirby-esque, but it's not Kirby. Don Heck, artist. What the heck? So there you go. Some more. I just love these old comics, and they're always like one and done stories. Oh, this one's cool. Daredevil and the Black Widow. That's a funny like pairing, I guess, but hey. The sense-shattering sounds of the screamer. It looks cool. I want to read it. Steve Gerber, writer. So this is like 70s. Because I know he was like a writer in the 70s, I think. Yeah, 1973. Rich Buckler, artist. Frank Giaico or something. I don't know how to say it, but so yeah, cool stuff. I'm looking forward to reading that as well. I kind of like these better than a lot of different kind of comics. And then I saw these Superman's John Byrne. And so I was like, let me see what John Byrne's Superman looks like. I didn't know he did a Superman run or what, but he looks like a really good Superman, actually. Like he's got he does a Superman face really well, which I'm not surprised by because he's an awesome artist, but pretty cool stuff. So yeah, anyways, just some random comics I got. $10 well spent, in my opinion. And then my mom gave me this too. She thought I'd like it, for scrapbooking or not scrap, for mixed media or for reference and stuff, which I do. Lost New York by Nathan Silver. So it's just got a lot of cool photos of like old New York and stuff. It's not showing any photos yet. Here we go. A lot of architecture stuff, there's some drawings, illustrations, but it's cool to see what New York looked like at one time, like cobblestones and like, I was walking around. I think when I was in Boston, I was like walking around and I'm looking and I'm like, look at these huge buildings. And there was a time that there was no buildings here, And I wonder what it looked like in the transition periods, as the city started to develop and stuff. And they have old like brick buildings and concrete and stuff. And like, I don't know, just different kinds of ways of making buildings that aren't always the way they go about it now. And I don't know. I think there's more steel in buildings these days. So I thought it was kind of cool. And again, great reference, all these different city shots and stuff. So, and it's this type of stuff you won't find on Google. I love old books are like way better than Google. Not that I have a problem with Google, but it's nice. So anyway, so that's my crap that I got recently. um, so I'm happy about that. Let's get back to the chat, and then we'll get into the topic, do some drawing of some sort. Let us see. Let us see. Whoa, new SOTL Shadow Locust music. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, check it out. They're everywhere. Spotify, everything. I got some of the tracks I'm on. And if you look up the Shadow the Locust YouTube channel, we were supposed to do a video this weekend, but I did one recently with them. It's the Locust Lyrics Focus. So we dive into one of the songs and we just talk about the lyrics and just what it all entailed of making it and stuff. Like it's pretty fun little show. So I'll be doing another one, I think Sunday. We'll see. So yeah. What an encouraging mother. I know, right? She's awesome. When I was younger, she wasn't as into art, but she was still supportive and stuff. But now she's into art, so she's buying me stuff all the time because she buys her own stuff. And hey, I will take it. I'm not going to complain, that's for sure. Devontae Edwards, yo, what's up? Thanks for coming by. Do. Yeah, Ralph likes it. Yeah, that Lady Satan stuff was really awesome. I can't not wait to read that. Torhiki, hello everyone. Making comics is easy, I guess. If you can manage to just sit your butt down and put in the work. I'm trying. I'm gonna for realsies. I like that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. I mean, like I said, I'm reacting to somebody else saying making comics is easy, so I'm not necessarily saying that, but hey, maybe it makes people click and watch the video. I'm not above trying to get people to come hang out a little bit. I don't do it like crazy, but yeah. It's not clickbait either because we're going to talk about it. What's up, Martian Gang? The other comic guy. What's up? Thanks for coming by. And yes, Mr. Kodak is here in the building. Lizello Art saying you're going to make a comic and making a comic is the equivalent of saying you're going to run a marathon and actually running a marathon. You would know, Lizello, and I think you're right. I agree. Michael Hing, didn't you want to do some kind of hip hop ambient work at one point? Yeah, you and I talked about music a lot, and we had a discussion about ambient music, and I like there's a certain kind of ambient music that's like this kind of airy fairy, like the original music for airports by Brian Eno, which at that time was, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but it was unique and it's something that inspired a lot of people. But then everybody did it the same way he did it. A lot of people did it the same way he did it. So, anyways, but even he said, he's like, that's not what ambient music is. It can be a lot of things, it can have a lot of texture and stuff. That was just that particular iteration of the idea of ambient music that I came up with. And there can be like for me, I like stuff with a lot of texture and a lot of just, I don't know, sounds. And anyways, yeah, I have ideas. And to be honest, what I've done is I've even already used ambient work, but you wouldn't call it ambient because when I use it for hip hop, it's, you throw the beat on there and it turns into not feeling like ambient anymore. But I use like ambient techniques to make some of the backdrops of the sounds and stuff. And it's like what it ends up being is more of a layer sometimes. But then with my experimental music, sometimes I do really get into ambient territory as well. So yeah, I'm sure nobody here, I don't know, probably not too many people here are interested in ambient music, but I am. And drone music and stuff like that. Let's see. Kodak X is on Twitch. Okay, so he's doing Twitch stuff now. That's interesting. Because man, Disciple X on Twitch must be insane. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has like super long Twitches where he just freestyles the whole time or something, because he is like an insane freestyler. Man, that's got to be interesting. I might have to check that out. Michael Heng, odd. Sharpies were on sale in my local Ryman stationery chain in the UK too. It was useful. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's how it works. I don't know. Maybe Sharpie is like trying to get a lot of sales out, and so all the stores have them on sale, or maybe not. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Interesting. Mighty Geek Studios. Mom's just looking out for you, Marsh. Yeah, totally. Thanks for coming by the way. Let's see. That's a cool sketchbook. Haven't seen an accordion style one before. Yeah, it's like I've been keep coming across different kind of sketchbooks these days, and I don't know. It's cool though. And this one's different too, because I showed you guys this before, but it doesn't have any binding. So the point of that is so you can open it up all the way and have like not too much crease there, especially when you get more to the middle pages. You know, it's pretty much flat here, you know, so you don't get that weird crease thing, which I don't know if I care that much about that, but I don't know. I just thought it was cool, like a sketchbook without a binding. Fun. Let's see. Blending brushes are especially good for pastels and charcoals. I'm guessing yours are for oil pastels. I mean, I don't have a plan yet. I love charcoal. That sounds like a great use for it. Yeah. I haven't even touched the oil pastels since I bought them, which is unfortunate, but I'll get to it. You know, I have gouache too, but that's probably not the best. Probably wet stuff is probably not the best for blending brushes. I don't know, maybe watercolor, but yeah, I don't know. I got to look into it, see how people are using them, you know, or pan pastels. Yeah, maybe. I don't have any pan pastels, so I'm not sure how even to use that. Burns Superman was awesome. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. And Argos says, glad to see you. Well, glad to see you too. Thanks for coming by. All right. So, what are we going to do now, guys? We're going to talk about the topic and try to draw something. I don't even know what to draw. If you have any suggestions, we'll try it. Maybe we'll try that. I was drawing this. I never finished it yet, but I don't know what to put in the center here because he's got like kind of like electrical cables or like spark plug type electrical, or not spark plug, but like, you know, the things you use to charge your car. I don't know. I can't think of words right now, but he's got those. And then I just kind of put a circle exploding there, but I don't know what that doesn't even make sense, you know, like a sun or something in pencil. So I got to figure out what to kind of put in between here. So that should be interesting. Yeah. What else? I could draw on here, or I've been kind of feeling this accordion thing. What I'll probably do here is just go to another page here on this National Geographics and start doodling, kind of doing some stuff from that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm yawning. Man, this is a crazy article that's in here. It's got like kids with guns and stuff. Like violence with kids. It's kind of, I don't know what the deal is, but it's good for reference material, that's for sure. That one's kind of cool. There's so many things. I guess I should show you what I'm looking at. I don't want to show that. That's like I said, this is what I was drawing the other day, and see this stuff where they're like kids learning how to shoot guns. I don't know what's going on, and then there's like other stuff. So yeah, I don't know, but there was a cute picture here. I guess I should be careful with National Geographic because. Oh, and remember, I had music on the other day by accident, and it did get demonetized. I was thinking this one's kind of cool. Just this girl swinging. I'll draw that for now, and then we'll see if anything else comes about. I could draw it right here. I just want to put a piece of paper over this, and we'll probably just go with a pen here. So, yeah, drawing comics, making comics is easy, didn't you know? And we'll get back to the chat in a bit too. But yeah, so let's try to get this gestures going and all that, and see how this goes. It's kind of weird to draw so small, you know, but we're doing it. I guess I could fold it out too if I wanted to, but I don't think I need to go any further than that too much. Yeah, making comics is easy. And so what does that mean? Like, so basically, like I said, I was let's get the gesture in here a little bit better. And then we go like this. I got to do more gesture drawing. Oh, and by the way, like I said, I was on Artcasters the other day, and we talked about like draw traditional drawing exercises, like the type of stuff that if you go to college for art, or if you go, you know, even if you just have like a good school, you know, element, or a good high school that has, you know, a good art program, that the type of exercises they'll have you do. And I learned a lot in those kind of classes personally. So that was a really good conversation, and like I said, that's where I drew this other drawing that's under here. But I think just getting into the art of, or the joy of making, of just drawing, you know, is a good practice, and that's kind of what I was trying to bring to the table in that conversation a lot. So, because I dig that vibe, yo. So, anyways, so somebody was talking about, it was on TikTok. Somebody was saying, "Oh, you know, making comics is easy," and what they were really alluding to, I don't think they, like. I almost wanted to comment back, but I didn't want to be rude, and I was just like, but I think what they were really alluding to is like, making comics is the easy part. The hard part is getting people to know about the comics, you know, selling the comics and stuff like that. And I could understand that, you know, I could understand that idea, that thought process. But this person who was talking is a writer, is a comic writer. He doesn't draw the comics. And so to me, I'm thinking, well, I love me some writers, and I think we need more great writers in comics, you know. But you know, drawing comics and writing comics are two different things, and I'm not saying one's more important than the other. I think they're both equally important, and they both need to be done. They need to be studied and understood on how to do it well. And I think, unfortunately, writing, when it comes to comics and writing, we haven't often, you know, as a comic book industry, we've missed out on really doing a great job when it comes to writing with comics. In general, there are some good comics out there that have good writing, and there's many actually, to be honest. But in general, like the art of writing comics, because the tradition is kind of this um assembly line, type of mentality, and just get these things out every week, and that kind of thing. So that's how it like kind of originally was going. And um so there's that. But like I said, he's kind of talking about writing comics, and well, he was talking about like trying to get the word out about the comics, which is what he does on TikTok, very pretty successfully too, I would say. Like he's kicking butt, and I got nothing but respect for this dude. And I don't really disagree with him. I just to say like to say making comics is easy, I think is a little bit crazy to a certain degree. But I get it because it's like it's definitely easier than like making a movie or something like that, you know. Um, and I don't know, like in a lot there is a certain sense where it is easy, and also there's a sense that I always emphasize, and I did a little short here on YouTube recently, talking about mini comics again. I think I did that yesterday actually. Um, and that's the thing is it is difficult to make a comic, but it is also kind of easy. It's easier than we make it out to be sometimes. And like we make it too difficult for ourselves. We get all up in our head about it. When we could easily just literally make a comic in a day, or in an hour. I've proven that, and some of my followers here or some of my friends here have proven that as well. The 1 hour comic book challenge that I created. It's a thing. It's a thing that a lot of people have actually done. So there are certain kind of versions of comics that could happen very quickly. Um, Now, again, that would be more under the realm of like comics from the traditional sense of writing, where the writing probably isn't amazing. But there's also, again, mini comics and stuff. And you can make a really profoundly well written mini comic. There's no reason why you can't. The format being small doesn't matter. I say that the hour long one would be a little bit less of a amazing writing, because it's literally a challenge to make a comic in a short amount of time. So there's no way you're going to be able to like drum up like some amazing story, in that amount of time probably. But it's still a fun exercise and helps you to get your first comic done. And that way you can say that you've done a comic and then build from there and move into something more significant. Now, actually making something like a larger form comic, now that's an interesting thing too. Relatively, I mean, what's easy and what's not easy, like relatively anything could be easier than something else. Like it's probably easier than brain surgery. you know um it's probably easier than making a movie. It's probably, I don't know if it's easier than writing a novel, making even one floppy comic, but it probably kind of is, because most people don't Well, no, I would say it actually isn't because you can write a novel in a month if you want to. Not many people do, but there is like that NaNoWriMo challenge, and people do at the very least write the first draft of a novel in a month sometimes, and there are people who actually do write maybe even more than I'm sure people have written more than one novel in a month, which I don't know how what the quality of that is necessarily, um but with a comic you still can do that as well, but it's usually the you know the people who are making comics, in a professional sense, yeah, they make comics in a month or less, but they also have a huge team that they're working with, especially if you think of like manga artists and stuff too, you know, they have like a huge team going on, and so I don't know. So there is a sense where okay, maybe comics in some senses could be easy to make. Uh so yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Um but I do want to like encourage people like it's not as hard as we make it out to be. Like and also a lot of creators kind of take too long, you know. And I do too, unfortunately. I'm not really pointing the finger without pointing the finger back at me here. you know, I am too. It takes me longer than I should to get to the point of making comics. But we've had this conversation often about, the time it takes, and some stuff, some works are that substantial where, it doesn't mean like they're better than other works, but they just the scope of the work, the ambitiousness of the work, um, means that it's going to have to take some more time than your typical comic, and that's fine. It's worth it to take your time to make an amazing work. And really, the time that it takes isn't as important as making. You know, um, I like to think of it in terms of like having enough respect, for your idea and for the effort you're going to put into it to really put the effort into it and really make something great. If you're going to spend as much time as it takes and as much effort as it takes to make a comic, and I'm not talking about like mini comics and stuff here. I'm talking about like, all right, now I've done some mini comics. I've done my 1 hour comic. I've done, you know this and that. But now I want to make something more like on the lines of a graphic novel or a comic book series or something. When you get to that point, if you even want to, there's nothing wrong with just staying in the realm of just the more fun, like off the cuff type stuff, or like underground, or like I said, mini comics and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But if you decide to really like spend some time crafting a story, I like to think of it as give it the time it deserves, and also like even when it comes to after the fact marketing it, you know, give it the effort it deserves, because you did all that work. You don't want it to end up in obscurity. And often comics do, like comics get lost and so many people are making them and stuff. So you want to give it the time it deserves and all that stuff, especially if it's a really good work. Like I had Gary Hodges on a while back, and I love his comic Dinosaurs versus Marsbots, and because he puts the time in to make that comic what it is, like that would be a shame if that ends up being like this obscure work that only our little group of people, here find out about, because it's such a good book like that. that book is the type of book that I would love to see, turn into something big. I would love to see that turn into a TV series or a movie. Um, but not that that's like the point of it. I would love to see it just be put like on the level of some of the great comic books out there. Like I'd love to see a lot of comic book readers come to find out about that story and be like, this is an amazing book, and get the acclaim that I feel like it deserves, and I'm sure other people here are doing work like that as well. And if you're not, it doesn't mean you even have to like aspire to that. I'm not even saying like I don't know that I'm going to aspire to anything like that, but um who knows, maybe I could get there someday, but it's not really my aim. But if you've got something on your hands that's like really well done, it's worth taking the time uh to get it out there properly, to make it as good as it can be. Like if you got a great idea, like, you know, what if George Lucas kind of stopped short and half-assed, Star Wars? That could have happened. I mean, there was a lot of sci-fi stuff out at that time that, didn't end up being as awesome as Star Wars. And I don't know, there's all kinds of different factors that could be involved and why that is. But George Lucas took the time to make it a masterpiece. And a lot of times that's the difference, is like, are you going to take the time? There's a lot of luck in that too, but like I said, there was a lot of other sci-fi stuff out at that time that if you look back at it now, you can be like, yeah, I'm not surprised that it didn't turn into what Star Wars turned into. You know, they just didn't put the quality into it. And sci-fi was not at all like a respected genre, I don't think, at that time for movies. Um, so it was a risk to even try making that into what it ended up becoming. But man, that risk paid off. so so if you're sitting here and you're sitting like on a masterpiece, is it easy to make comics? I don't know if Gary's in here now, but I'm sure he will tell you, it's not easy. And, but it is rewarding. And I think he would say that. Um, so it's worth it, and you might not feel like it's worth it right after you finish the project, but eventually, if you've done a good job, you probably will be like, you know what, it was worth it, you know. And not saying that every comic project has to be some kind of drudgery or anything, that's not the case either. But you know, it's some like, I again, being friends with Fue, also known as Lucifer Storm, I've seen him go through a couple different processes with different comic book projects. And sometimes it's tougher than other times. And I've gone through my own processes, but there's sometimes where it kind of comes easy. The story just flows out of you, type of thing. And that's a fun experience. I've definitely had those experiences with creative, projects and ideas. And I've had those experiences at times where, like, yes, it ends up being a good work, but it wasn't easy. Like every, if not many, if not every, then many steps along the way were like, is this even going to happen? Is this even worth it? That type of thing. Like it just, it can get to a point, a place of like just being a little bit of a really tough thing to do. So when it comes down to it, if there were a quick answer to the question, is comics easy? The answer would be a little bit of both. which is always the answer that's annoying to hear. But it's often the truth with a lot of questions, like, is something this way or that way? A little bit of both. Or a lot of it of both, and it depends. It depends is another really horrible answer that you never want to get to anything. But at the same time, it kind of just is the answer sometimes. um so I think kind of what it is, what the answer is to often in some of these situations is, do you enjoy the journey? Are you dedicated enough to make the journey worthwhile? Are you dedicated enough to finish the journey? um Whether it's easy or not, kind of what's important is the vision. Like, what's your vision? And, like, is it something you want to pursue in tough times and in nice times? It's kind of like marriage. Thick and thin, through sickness and in health, and all that kind of thing. uh so I feel like when it comes down to it, making a comic, and or any creative work, is similar to marriage. It's similar to, and obviously not exactly the same as, like, giving birth to a child. And obviously I don't know what it's like to give to birth to a child, but a lot of creative people, women and men included, have likened making creative works to, just the idea, like the process of, like, it's not so much obviously the pain or whatever, but it's like the process of, like, you have this idea. It's like the seed of an idea, and you have the vision of it, but it takes 9 months to get there. And so there's a similarity when it comes to birthing a child in that respect. Obviously, it's a totally different thing, and it can't really be compared. But you know, at the same time, it becomes an interesting metaphor for creative works. So, um, and again, it's almost like, is it easy or is it hard? Like, um, it's similar, like, to having a kid, which again I haven't experienced exactly, but I know enough about life to understand some things about it. Um, and there's joy in it, but there's also worry, fear, um, anxiety. you know so so all these kind of human experiences happen within the creative process as well. um so yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this discussion is interesting. It's kind of an off the cuff type of thing. I didn't write any notes because this kind of thinking is in my DNA. I think about and talk about this stuff all the time with friends and with you guys, and stuff like that. So it's not hard for me to sit here and, like, riff about, comic making and what it's like, and all that kind of thing. Um, I've been doing it for long enough and talking about it for long enough, almost 1,000 videos into this YouTube channel, mostly talking about comics. Like, I think I can do it sometimes, once in a while. So anyways, so yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like a little bit of an off the cuff discussion, but I'm curious what you guys' experiences and stuff are with making comics, or any creative work. And if it's felt easy, has it felt hard? Has it, did it feel like it was worth it? And if you have any other comments or suggest or thought or questions about it, I'd be happy to, like, chat about my thoughts on any of this stuff. I'm enjoying drawing this. I don't know if it's amazing, but it's actually coming out okay so far. I'm sure I'll do, like, the face in a minute soon, and it'll, like, ruin everything. But I just enjoy the act of drawing and working myself through an image, and stuff. So let's check out the chat, see where we're at here. Do 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 do. Almost there. Okay. Let me take a sip of water because I've been talking for a bit. There we go. So, let us see. We got Michael Hing. Sadly, it is getting very late here and I'm sleepy. Sadly, going to have to crash. Hope it's a good stream. Night. Hey, thanks for coming by for the beginning of it. Lizzello Art. Robotic Egg. Ooh, that's a good idea. I like that idea. If I come across another topic and I'm able to finish this, I'll try to do the robotic egg. I could always do that in another stream too, like next week or something. I do have a video that will be coming up soon and will take the place of the stream and just be a video for that week. But I have to finish what I'm doing and get there. I don't know how many weeks out that's going to end up being, but probably next week will be a regular stream. But every Tuesday we do some kind of video about comics. Usually it's a live stream these days, but it may not always be a live stream. But I'll always come back to live streaming. It'll always be a mix of live streams and other kind of videos because I like chatting with you guys. I love the community aspect of making comics, and I love the community aspect of the internet when it goes well. Power control box with gauges and meters in the middle. Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know. I don't have a specific visual idea for it. Metal Master 4686. What's up? I wonder what 4686 means. Hello. Thanks for coming by. Let's see. Drew Rosa Art. Hey, everybody. What is up? Thanks for coming by. Drew DeRose Art. Did I say that wrong? Sideburns. What part did he say was easy about it? Yes. I hope I answered that. He was basically talking about. I think he was just talking in general. He was trying to make the comparison, and I don't think it was the greatest way to talk about it personally. But he was trying to say like it's hard to do this. It's hard to do the marketing and hard to do the he's like it's hard to do the marketing and the selling of comics, which I agree, it is hard, but not if you learned marketing and learned how to sell things. It's just another skill. Those two things are two different skills. So if you're a writer and you have not learned the art of marketing and the art of selling, then yeah, it's going to be harder than it is to write a comic. But if your skill is selling and marketing, but you've never written anything, it's going to be harder for you to write a comic. Or did I say, I might have said it wrong there, but it's going to be harder to sell and market if you're mainly a writer. But if you're, mainly a marketer, it's going to be harder to write the comic. So, they're just different skills. Same thing with drawing versus writing. Like, it's not harder to draw a comic than it is to write a comic, but it's not harder to write a comic than it is to draw a comic. It just depends on which skill you've developed. And I mean, I guess if you've developed all those skills equally and you're good at all three of those skills, it's probably hardest to draw a comic, out of all those three things. Personally, that's what I would think, because I'm kind of at a similar skill level with all three of those things. I'm not amazing. I'm kind of like intermediate level, of all three of those things. But I find the art is kind of the most difficult, but it's kind of the part I want to do the most and I'm most interested in. So I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. I wouldn't say I'm definitely, I think, a better artist than I am a writer. So, but I still would say the art is harder personally. um, but maybe that's because I haven't put my all into writing, and maybe if I go through that process of really like building a story and building characters and building, an outline that makes sense and all that kind of thing, maybe I will find that the writing is harder. I know that I'm much more prone to open up my sketchbook than to open up a a pad of paper or like a Word document or something and start typing a story out. So I don't know. Let's see. Making comic definitely is easy. Is not easy. I meant, yeah. See, that's why it kind of struck me funny when that person said that. But at the same time, I do get what they're saying. Empyrean Vol says, I do think people making it difficult are making it difficult on themselves. There's a lot of self-sabotage. And that's one of the points that I was thinking of too. Like I do think I agree, like people make it more difficult than it has to be, as well. Marsh, have you read some comics from Europe like Tintin Asterix? I probably have, but I haven't read Tintin or Asterix specifically. Um, I mean, Ed Gein Demon Hunter and Lady Satan is from Europe. uh, I'm sure I've read Europe comics, but I don't think that's what you really mean. I don't know. I have like I don't even know if I have any Tintin comic. I think I have one possibly, or no, I don't have any Tintin comics. So yeah, those particular I might even have asterisks, but I don't know. It's something I'm interested in though. I just haven't like dug into that stuff. So I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm European comics curious for sure. Let's see. Vol says we also adhere to crazy standards. Comics through the Silver Age were just 16 pages or so. The first Doctor Strange story is 5.5 pages. And he continues, some people are like, I'm interested in doing comics. I'll do a 200-page graphic novel. Let's see. Now on page one. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, we set up, we don't start small enough sometimes. And like you said early on, the comic stories were a lot shorter. Almost every comic book in the early days was an anthology of like 3 or 4 or 5 stories. And, each of these stories would have been like 8 or 16 pages or somewhere in the middle, probably. So it was a lot easier probably to be a comic artist in that respect back then, but you would probably pump out 3 or 4 stories a month. So that's a whole different thing too. Um, I don't know exactly what the production schedule was at different times, but I've heard some stories of different situations and facing a 16-page story or even a 24-page comic is a whole different beast than facing a 200-page graphic novel, like you were saying. So a lot of times people are trying to um, do something that's especially for a beginner, pretty much seems insurmountable, you know. In my comic, you could start in any chapter because it's episodic, so I don't really have too much pressure finishing it, so to speak. Okay, that's awesome. I love, you know, the different ways of storytelling. I love episodic stories. I love, long stories. Like I think Lord of the Rings is probably the best example of something long that I really enjoyed. Movie form and book form, the whole series. So, there's different ways to go about it. And I love them all. Just tell me a good story. It can be short and sweet. I watched a movie last night, Puppy Love. It's a little rom com with puppies, and it was a good movie actually for those if you like those kind of movies. I do. Um, really, really, Lucy Hale, and I don't remember what the guy's name is. And I don't know how old that movie is, but Lucy, if that's like a newer movie, she still looks super young. But anyways, it's just like a cute little movie about dogs and two people, and but it was a good story, and I love that kind of stuff. I love all the different formats. The gist sounds like it's easier to make a comic than to distribute, sell comics. Making a comic is still hard. Selling it is even harder. Yeah, yeah. That's basically what the guy was kind of saying. Except for he didn't say making a comic is hard. He started off by saying making a comic is easy, and I'm like, really? um, but I think he wasn't trying to be. I like if I were to have this conversation with him, he probably would concede, well, yeah, yeah, it isn't like necessarily like super easy, but he probably would elaborate. He's a really good dude, and he does know what he's talking about when it comes to comics. I'm not trying to prove this guy wrong. It's just that the way he said it kind of was like made my head tilt a little bit. Lazello Art, having respect for your idea. Totally the reason why comics are based on short stories with throwaway characters and not my precious OCs. Hmm. I'm not sure what you're saying here, Lazello. I'd be curious to hear more. Having respect for your idea, like that's, I think you're quoting what I was saying, and then totally the reason why my comics are based on short stories with throwaway characters and not my precious OCs. Okay. Okay, so maybe you're saying like you're starting off um with kind of throwaway characters, maybe to learn the craft of making comics. And then the precious OCs will be something that maybe you work on later and you take the time to develop and stuff, which I think is kind of the way I'm going too, to be honest, and probably a pretty good tactic or technique. So I don't know if that's what you were saying, but yeah, it's interesting to think of that for sure. Ulysses JN, what's up? Thanks for coming by. I find the hardest part of making comics is the amount of time it takes before you can see the finished product. Yeah, and that's like I was talking about with like making it how it's similar to having a baby, where it's like the seed is there, it starts off, but it's going to be 9 months before you actually see what all this was coming to. So in that way, comics is similar. But I think that's the case for most creative projects, whether you're writing a novel or making a movie or um you know I don't know. I make music, but that like an album. Thinking of like an album that way as well. Um, I mean, I could come up with a song and finish it quickly, relatively quickly, but taking the time to really craft something, it just really depends. Like, there's probably a different amount of effort that comes into making like a Tool album or like a System of a Down album than there is in making I don't know what to compare it to really, but other kinds of albums. um so but I think it all takes work to make great stuff. It takes time and takes work. With a drawing, you can see it in one day or two, and that's another thing too. That's really, I agree, like sometimes I want to make comics. I mean, I want to make illustrations more than I want to make comics because, or just drawings, because I can sit there and make something pretty cool in a matter of an hour or two or a day or whatever. Whereas a comic, you're in it for the long haul, even if it's a small, like say 8-page, 4-page comic. Um, you know, at the very least, it's going to take you 4 or 8 days to do it. Generally, people usually do. I mean, that's actually a quick pace these days when you think of independent comics. Like a page a day is like, wow, that's like speed, where Jack Kirby would do 3 to 5 pages a day. So, or other artists, from that, from his era. A comic takes a lot longer than that. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Also, making a comic isn't just drawing, it's writing, scripting, editing, layout, publishing, marketing, sales. There are just a lot of non drawing skills involved. Yeah. And not to mention lettering. Inking is an art related skill, but it's in a drawing related skill, but still, that's another part of it. There's so much to it for sure. It's a good point. Yes, I agree. Good points, Ulysses. Ulysses. Um, Bande Dessinée are comics from France and Europe. Okay, another thing I'd be curious to check out. Maybe comic strips. Yeah, comic strips, I would say, are probably a lot easier than making a full comic book, if that's what you're saying. And for sure, I mean, I've made a few comic strips, and they definitely were easier. Especially if you're doing one panel comic strips. Any suggestions for writing warm ups before actually writing? Probably. Let me take another sip of water here. Um, I'm not 100% convinced that writing exercises and writing warm ups, I think they're good maybe for a young writer. Um, and that's, I mean, I'm not much, I don't know if I'm any better than a young writer personally, but oh my gosh, the rooster's out. Did you guys hear that? He's making noise. Um, but yeah, I think there are. I mean, you can do like there's like writing prompts and stuff. I think poetry. Actually, I do think it is helpful because to me, I feel like I can write better because I've been a rapper. I've made music, hip hop music, and written a lot of lyrics in my time. Um, and I feel like that has contributed to my ability to write, you know, like stories. I've even, I've written lyrics that were storytelling as well. Um, so like that would be like if you have any interest in music, that's a short way of like kind of getting some writing practice in. Creating creative writing exercises, like there's like the stream of consciousness type of thing where you just sit down and your point isn't to write and construct the most amazing story. um, the point is more to spend a certain amount of time writing and just write whatever comes to your mind, free writing. um, and uh, and and do that for either a specific amount of time or a specific amount of words. Try to have like a word count goal. That's kind of what like NaNoWriMo is kind of based off of, I think, is just write. It doesn't matter how good the writing is or what you write, just write this many words a day, and and there's a lot that can there's a lot that can come of something like that. And I do think it's helpful. Also, like poetry, like all these different forms of writing are valid, and they're all, I think, helpful in getting to the point of being able to write a story. But writing a story is also like you're constructing a world, which but most of all you're creating characters, and you have like it's like you have something you want to say, and you're trying to find a very like structured way almost to say it. um you're trying to find like a story is like an exploration, and you're trying to find the best way to explore this idea of, say, you know being brave in the face of fear, in the face of, or dealing with the tragedy of losing a loved one or whatever. Like that's like the big kind of concept of certain story, of that kind of story. And now when you're writing a story, it's like it's trying to find a way to discuss that, and go on a journey, and bring the audience in on a journey. uh so it's an interesting art form, really. Like so to be able to do something like that, you know I do feel like there's exercises that can help you kind of get there, but in the end I feel like you just have to write stories. And prompts can help you out. Like I do like the idea of like different prompts. Like one I always think of when it comes to the idea of like writing stories is, take like two characters who are completely opposite, and put them in a stuck elevator or something, or in a room, and then just write dialogue for them. Like I feel like that is probably like, or two characters who hate each other, or two characters, one character who like, you know um one who like cheated on somebody with that person's wife, or I don't know, like anything, like any kind of conflict, and then put them together. Like take two conflicting characters and put them in the same place at the same time where they can't really escape. I feel like that's kind of like a cool exercise that could be helpful. um and it doesn't even have to be that dramatic. It could be like, I mean, a lot of the best stories are what if concepts. I mean, really, really a good concept for a story is a good what if. What if? And I learned this from Lucifer Storm, also known as Flea Storm. And it's a if you want a good story, it's a good what if concept. So, um, one example he says is like the Matrix. He's got a video out about it, actually. You should check out Lucifer Storm's YouTube channel. Um, and I think in the Matrix example, it's what if you found out reality was, I don't know. It's like I'm not good at like coming up with these like what ifs, or just remembering what the specific seed was, but it's just coming up with an interesting what if. That's like the beginning of a story. So even coming up with those what ifs is a good exercise, actually. And come up with 10 of them. Not all of them are going to necessarily be good, but just keep coming up with those what ifs. I feel like that's a good exercise. But the thing is it does take a long time to write a story, so it's like, you know, how how much time do you want to spend doing a writing exercise as opposed to just like writing, you know? Uh, so I don't know, but I do think some of these exercises could be worth it. But I would also say just write a story. That's a good exercise, and I just would hate to see like somebody be held back from making the thing they want to make because they want to do writing exercises. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because I do think there is some validity to it. But just I guess the point is to pay attention to how much time you end up spending on that. With drawing, you do need to practice, with making making especially with comics or just illustration in general, like what I'm doing right now, this kind of thing is very helpful to making my next comic is, observational drawing. But I feel like with writing, it's a little bit less the case. You just have to write stories, especially if you're a story based writer. If you're doing like abstract, literary type of, I guess, prose and whatnot, maybe it's a little different, but I don't know. So, yeah, I pretty much drew this little thing. I'm going to look at the chat again. I'm not even fully caught up with it, but I think this kind of came out cool. It's just, again, a little observational sketch. Well, let me take down the comment. Oh, but you were saying like warm-ups, writing warm-ups before actually writing. Yeah. Again, I feel like free writing would be good. Just get the pen going. I think there's something to that, like especially if it's just a warm-up and then you're going to get to your actual writing after that. I think that wouldn't hurt. What actually would be really good is journaling. I think that would be a great way, because journaling is just good anyways. That's really helpful as a person for, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, business, whatever. Journaling is a good practice to get into. So, yeah, I don't know. Try journaling as a warm up. I think that would be great. Or again, just some kind of non-linear creative writing exercise. I think would do the trick as well. Even if you're writing nonsense, like that's another warm up that people do for drawing. They do like what do they call it? I can't think of the word suddenly, but it's like you're just basically just doodling and just putting lines and connecting more lines and making textures and automatic drawing. Is that what it's called? Or automatic writing? I don't know. But that form of almost even nonsense writing, I feel like that could even be a good warm up. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. I'm ready. I'm reading Tribes by Seth Godin. That's a good book. I've read it. Yeah, really good. It's got some good advice on making a following for sure. Seth Godin is great. Like, I suggest pretty much any of his books. Purple Cow was a great one too. And it's definitely worth it for people like us who are, if we're trying to sell comics or market things. Like, he is all about the marketing and stuff, and he talks about creatives specifically. You can't go wrong with Seth Godin. He's one of the best when it comes to that, and it's easy to read his books as well. So I watch your YouTube videos for a while. Thanks, Dom. Glad to see you here. Deist, hello, what's up? Thank you for coming by. Let's see. I had thunder in my stream the other night. Oh boy. Krakow. Cool. It's been a wet summer, right? Like, I don't know. It seems like in most places there's been more rain than other typical summers, but hey, nothing wrong with that, I guess, as long as, there is some nice summer days, which there's been plenty of that too here. Yes, Marsh, I have decided to use random stories, characters while I learn how to make comics before I start page 1 of the story I want to tell. Okay, so I'm glad I was able to parse through that and figure out what you were saying. So that's awesome. I mean, I fully support that. That's basically what I've been doing my whole comic career so far is kind of working my way up to a good story by doing other stories that are, okay. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not where I want to be yet. That said, I have a self-imposed time limit for learning before I get started. I think that's also good as well. Otherwise, I'll be practicing forever and never get around to telling the story I feel compelled to share. Oh my gosh, that's gold right there. People like listen to this, like what she's saying, like because that's what we do. A lot of creatives, a lot of comic book artists, we procrastinate until we never even make the thing. So don't do that. Get yourself a time limit, or like you don't have to do a time limit, but that's a good way to do it. But you know, just make a goal. Like for instance, Empyrean Vol, one of his goals is to make 1,000 pages. And that's he's on like page 700 and whatever at this point or something. I always forget the count, but you know then it's like, okay, now I'm at the point where I got some skills that I didn't have 1,000 pages ago. And then you can take that all that you've learned for those one. I mean, that's kind of a crazy one to do. I don't suggest everybody do that necessarily because, you know, Empyrean Vol might be a little part crazy for doing that. But not everybody can hack that kind of challenge. That's I got nothing but respect, for him for doing that. But um, you know, for me, it's just I just keep doing another story and another story, and they're all small, but they all kind of increase in ability and in skill, each time I do a new one. So hopefully I'll get to the point where I make a good story. And they've been like, I started off with like my glyph comics, which were, somewhere around 16 small pages for like, and they were mini comics, which basically is two pieces of paper, technically, when it comes to actually producing the comic and like a cover. And then, but then I've done like little short 4-page comics. I'm finishing up a 1-page comic now. I've done comic strips. Like start with some of the small stuff if it's overwhelming to you, and if you're just still learning. And then once you've gotten to the point where you've done enough small things, maybe expand. I've also done a 24-page comic. I'm not saying it's a great comic, but Corncob Rob, you can go to the Etsy store and check it out right now if you want. On a digital, I only have it digitally, but it's like you can. I did it. I did a 24-page comic. I don't know, it might be 26. I can't remember, but I did that Lone Wolf comic that I've shown you guys recently, and that was the first time I've done a comic where it's a decent page count and it's fully colored, fully lettered, fully inked, fully penciled, all by me. I didn't write it, but I also did contribute to some, parts of the writing where I kind of took some liberties, I guess. And there is writing. The writing, doing the drawing is also part of the writing, really, anyways, in pretty much any comic. But it's not the full writing job, that the actual writer does. But anyways, like that was another challenge, where, it's like you just keep building upon each comic that you do. So that's kind of my approach. And I'm just hoping that one day I'll get to a point where I'm making comics that, I don't know, that have a real good kick to them as far as like well written, um, well drawn, and all that, Um, but I'm proud of all the work I've done. So, uh, yeah. What time is it? It's 7:12. Huh. Do you know where your chickens are? I know where they are. I can see them out my window on the neighbor's lawn. Oh boy. Let's see. Was there ever a moment when you looked at your drawing skills and thought, "Okay, I know how to draw"? I love that question. VHS Crush, what's up? VHS Crust, what is up? Thank you for watching and hanging out. Um, that is such a cool question because I feel like especially when I was early artist, I was always looking forward to the point when that would happen. And the big secret is that it never happens. um, but I do come to the point where I'm like, oh, I can do. I'm at a level of proficiency right now that's pretty cool. Like I like where I'm at now, but I definitely want to get better. So, you do kind of hopefully if you're fair and nice to yourself, if you're charitable to yourself, like you do hopefully you do look at your art at different points and kind of pat yourself on the back. It's worth like we are way as artists, a lot of times I notice we are way too hard on ourselves. And we need to give ourselves a pat on the back sometimes. Like we put a lot of work into this and we do build skill. Like again, being on the Artcasters last weekend or on Sunday, we kind of talked about this too. It's like you like we talked a lot about some pretty deep drawing concepts. It's not like super deep, but it was like we got into some stuff, and it's like that doesn't you don't get that day one. You don't get that art knowledge day one. You don't know about how important gesture is and how important shape is and how important and then the depths of that and how when you do this and this you get this effect and like I don't know, like there's so many little things that you learn and it only comes from doing it over and 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 over again. And you're not going to just get that, like I said, day one. But there I do think that we should, even if it's like on a yearly basis or, once in a while, just take a look at your old sketchbooks and take a look at what you're doing now and give yourself a little pat on the back. You deserve it. I feel like that's a good healthy thing. VHS Crush says, like obviously you're always improving as an artist, but right now I feel like I don't really know how to draw, even if I know I'm way better than when I started. And that's the being too hard on yourself thing. We all started off sucking. Nobody started off being great. I'm sorry to say, but it's just there's not one person on planet Earth who started anything, whether it's drawing or whatever skill it is. Nobody started off being great. We all started off being awkward, doing things that look ugly, doing, the wrong thing, whatever. And but basically the process of gaining skill is just the process of sucking less. And eventually you might actually get to the point where you're actually drawing pretty well. But most artists don't see themselves that way. Even your favorite artists a lot of times still has insecurities about their art. But I think there's no reason why we can't adopt a different attitude and decide to celebrate our victories. It's such an annoying to a certain extent. Not that you or anybody else here is annoying when I hear it. Like I empathize when I hear people say this, but for myself, it's an annoying um, attribute of the artist of myself to get so hard on myself about stuff, to be so judgmental of my. I put out a TikTok the other day, talking about that. Here, I'll show you guys. Because I think it's important. Blah 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 blah. Here we go. Right here. Let's see if we can. I'll take this out of the thingy. hopefully you guys hear this. TikTok Marshall Lee or Marsh Makes Comics if you're curious. Let's see. Listen to this. Hopefully you guys will. I'll turn it up. Well, I'll try to turn it up too loud because my phone, unfortunately, is slightly damaged with the speaker and it distorts. But hopefully this isn't too harsh. All right, guys, it's time to get drawing today. Just get in your sketchbook, get your pen. Don't judge yourself. Get your pencil, whatever it is. Make some marks so you can make your mark. We're created to be creative. Make something today. So there you go. Don't judge yourself. Just get to the work. And then once in a while, look back and say, look at that. That kid did something. that kid learned something. All right, let's keep making some more art, So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I forget, who was Lucifer Storm known as? I know, I say it all the time. I love your sarcasm there. I say it because, I'm pretty obviously, I've been very open with saying I tend to be more of conservative, and I'm definitely a Christian. And, so it's kind of weird if like you're a Christian and you're constantly singing the praises of somebody named Lucifer. So it's hard for me. It's hard because being a Christian, Lucifer, Satan is like the enemy, and so to say one of my best friends' name is Lucifer, like, so I always say Lucifer, also known as Fue, because that's his real name is Fue. But I like that he uses that name Lucifer though, because it's like it's part of the brand, it's part of the marketing, and you couldn't find a less evil person either. Like he's a good dude. Like he's cool. And so it's so funny that he's like one of my best friends, but he is. And I'm not embarrassed by that or anything. I'm proud of what he's done and accomplished. It's pretty amazing. As a comic book artist, as a writer, I mean, he doesn't really do the art so much usually, but he can draw his own comics. He has, but and as marketing, he's got some stuff going on, with like he knows better than most how to market and sell a comic, and he knows better than most how to write a comic too, to be honest. Sorry, I just figured since you brought him up again, Lady Satan. Again, and his book is called Lady Satan. So it's like, and his last book was about a serial killer. It's like, yes, but he is my friend, my beloved friend, for sure, 100%. So, and he's an awesome dude. So I just got that book. I'm looking forward to reading it. Check out luciferstorm.com or reloadcomics.co.uk. So there we go. I should put a link in here. Lucifer. Let me just get the link right too. Lucifer Storm. Oh yeah, there it is. He's got an awesome website too. Let's see if his comics. Here, I'll put it up on the screen. Wait, I'm like all over the place now. Here is the link. Control V. And I will put it up on the screen so we could check out some stuff real quick. Since you mentioned the name Lucifer, you've invoked the name. So there's his website. I mean, look at that. This dude knows what he's doing when it comes to marketing his brand, for sure. Comic book author, comic book writer, musician. Yeah, he also makes music, and it's pretty cool. There's his Ed Gein books. Like I said, the Lady Satan book, I don't think is available on his comic shop yet, but it will be. He's just right now fulfilling, actually just finished fulfilling, and he does conventions. The Lady Satan first book, so from his Indiegogo. But he's going to be getting that book out there some more. Just let me tell you that. I don't want to here's Lady Satan. So I don't want to blow any of his surprises coming down the line, but he's definitely, I can say at least that you will see much more of Lady Satan, that's for sure. If you follow his stuff. He's got a good newsletter and stuff too. That's probably a good way to keep up with him. The Art of Comic Book Writing is a great read, or a great book. Reading comic scripts are also a great help as well. Both great points. Thank you for bringing that up. The other comic guy. I agree with that. The audiobook Stein on Writing was great too. Okay, that one I haven't read. Actually, I didn't read The Art of Comic Book Writing either, but I think I have it. I've read parts of it, and it's been a while though. And reading scripts is also definitely very good. I've done that as well. Jim Lujan, hi Marsh. This is great. Thanks for coming by, man. Good to see you in the chat. Let's see, Christopher Infante, something like that. Stream of consciousness. Yes, that's probably what I was trying to say, but couldn't say it. Couldn't figure out the words. Let's see. Gotta run. Take care, everyone. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. How do you fend off discouragement? Oh man. How do you fend off discouragement? It kind of depends. If it's coming from a person, then you just try your best to keep that person out of your life. If you can't keep them out of your life, you have to be pretty active with encouraging yourself. It's just, I mean, you got to do some deep digging. If you're affected a lot by discouragement, if you're affected a lot by the negative thoughts, I mean, it takes I feel like it takes time, and honestly, I don't do so well with it all the time. That's for sure. Helping others is helpful. Like when I come on here and talk to you guys about this stuff and try to encourage you guys, it encourages me as well. So if there's any capacity in which you can do that, maybe there's just even one young artist, I shouldn't say young, but like one artist in your life who you can have some influence over. Maybe chatting with them and helping them out will help you. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to be, I think, proactive. I think when it comes down to it, just keep working on your skill and keep working on your projects, despite how you feel. Having a commitment, almost like a work ethic that has nothing to do with feeling, is good. Like the 100 days of making comics / just spending a half an hour every day on your comic. Some days you'll feel like crap and you'll feel like I suck, and some days you'll feel like, I'm doing okay, and some days you'll be like, this is great, I'm having a blast. So it's like, it's hard. I mean, sleep has a lot to do with stuff. Eating well has a lot to do with stuff. Getting some exercise, like all these things can help you fight the battle of discouragement. But we all are kind of plagued with it. If you've ever read the War of Art, not the Art of War, the War of Art, but the Art of War is also a good book that I haven't actually read, but I've read excerpts and I've heard a lot of good things about it. I want to read it. But if you read The War of Art, that's a great book, and it talks all about the resistance that we have as creative people, and how hard it is to fight that sometimes. But there's a lot of good nuggets of truth in there that will help, So, watch YouTube videos of people who are encouraging. Like, I feel like that's my primary role in this YouTube channel, is to encourage and inspire. That's really what I do here. Like I don't even show you guys me making comics sometimes that often. I mean, I try to show art, and I have shown making comics at times for sure. Um, and I'm about to have a video soon, and I definitely have done a lot of that, but there's a lot of times where I'm not showing making comics. I'm not like doing tutorials exactly. My main role here, and the thing that I feel like I can contribute to in life, is being an encouraging person and an inspiring person. Not because I'm amazing, but just because I think I just have a lot of empathy for people going through similar struggles I've gone through. And that's a big place where the center of motivation for me. So I don't want to talk about me this whole time. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying just watch my channel. There's other people. Like, if you watch Joshua Kimball's channel, he's great at encouraging, and like, really a lot of people who just share their journey and their process, are very encouraging. There's some people who are not so encouraging. They have a different style. They're doing something different, which is fine too. But try to make sure you're intentional intentional about the things you take into your mind, your heart, your ears. um and look at things think of, like, notice around you, what is the things that do encourage me. It's not really so much about fighting discouragement as it is as finding what encourages you, and clinging on to that, and having more of that in your life. I don't know why that question got me talking. I'm gonna let it go for now, but hopefully that was helpful. A question for the ages: do you know where your chickens are? I know it is, and I do not know where my chickens are, but I think they've been reined in because I don't see them out my window anymore. Either that, or they've tried to cross the road, and I don't know if they got to the other side. Oh boy. Let's see. Good being here. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Being overcritical of myself is something I do a lot. Hey, I'm right there with you. I think a lot of us are. By the way, Marsh, your Art Casters episode is one of my favorites. Great conversation. Oh man, thanks. That's awesome. Jim, I should have you on sometime here. It's been a while since I've had you on the show. In fact, I've been thinking about, because I've been sometimes I run into a little bit of a block of, like, what is the show going to be about tonight? And I need to get back to having people on from time to time. So you're definitely invited, and I might have to start inviting people on the show more often. Lucifer was a fallen angel, if I remember. Yeah, there's stuff that's, I mean, I go by what the Bible says, and I don't remember the exact, like, I don't spend a lot of time paying attention to specific stories about, like, Satan or the devil or Lucifer, but it's in there, and but there's some stuff that's kind of more mythological, and if you don't believe the Bible, then you might think that everything is mythological from the Bible, that's your freedom to believe that. I don't come here and try to preach and tell people what they should think and stuff. But for me, I believe in the Bible, and there is some stuff about Lucifer, not as much as you would think, though. And the idea of him being like a fallen angel might not even be the actual thing is said in the Bible. I've heard some things where it's like, well, there's a bunch of stuff that we all think about Lucifer or Satan or the devil that actually isn't biblical, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, I'm sure there's people who know a lot about all that stuff, more than I even do. I mean, I know a decent amount, but I don't remember for sure if he's technically a fallen angel. There was I don't know if they called it fallen angels. Yeah, I guess they did. There's definitely fallen angels in the Bible, and then there's like Nephilim, which were when the fallen angels, mated with like human women, and their babies were Nephilim and stuff like that. Which, that's some crazy sounding stuff, but I don't know what that all means. I don't. Even though I believe in the Bible, I don't necessarily know what everything means, but there's some interesting stuff there. And if you dig deep into it, I get really, like, I don't know. I think that stuff is really interesting. And I've dug into it myself, but it's been a while. There's a lot though going on there with the Lucifer, and is Lucifer and Satan and the devil, are they all the same thing? Like, I don't know. I think there is a possibility that there's a few different things that are being spoken of there where everybody just rolls them all into one, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. That was interesting tangent. Pretty nice website. Yes, I agree. War of Art is good. Also, Turning Pro by the same writer. Oh, I haven't read that one. I have to check that out. I'm trying to think of War of Art. I know Stephen Prescott. Is that right? I think that's the name. It's been a long time actually since I read that one. I think I read it like a couple times though. The War of Art. Stephen Pressfield, not Prescott. Okay, cool. Yeah, so cool. I'd love to check out his other book for sure. And maybe he has more. I don't know. Steal Like an Artist, also another great book for motivation. That's one that I think I have on my Audible books, and I have not. I think I might have started it and not finished it. I don't know. I need to though. I need to that one I've heard so much good stuff about, but I feel like I already kind of know what it's about because I already learned that lesson in a lot of ways, but I still probably will get some stuff from the book. So I don't know. I need to check it out. Dede is encouraging. Absolutely. Dede is super encouraging. Wish she was here now. But she comes more often than not. So I really appreciate that. And I think she watches the replays when she doesn't catch them live. And man, I miss so many of her shows, to be honest. I need to she's going to be on tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. She starts, and I've been trying to catch her show for the last like 3 shows. And tomorrow I'm going to try to make it a point to watch her show tomorrow, because I've been trying, and for some reason I keep getting distracted in the morning. I mean, I have a lot going on sometimes in the morning. I do my workouts and stuff then, and it's just, doing different things. But I'm going to try to catch her tomorrow. Dede Willingham, check her show out. And there is a link in the description because she is one of my moderators. Anyone here excited about Ahsoka? I have no clue what that is, JQ, but thanks for coming by and hanging out. Let's see. Thanks for the comic writing book suggestion, the other comic guy. Yes, good suggestion for sure. Kenny Rivera, hi. Thank you for coming by. Let's see. Lazello, talking about the Bible like there's only one version. Just kidding. Hey, that's a whole other topic of discussion. I mean, I could sit here and get into biblical and theological discussions for sure. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Yes, there are different versions of the Bible. There's different translations, so, it is what it is. They all bring something interesting to the table, at least the ones that I feel like are like authoritatively like accurate, relatively accurate. There are obviously some errant type of books out there that claim to be the Bible or a similar thing that I wouldn't think of as authoritative, but that's a whole there's so much discussion, like there's so much debate even in the scholarly Christian faith believing world. There's plenty of debate amongst about that kind of thing. So it's interesting though. It's funny you bring that up though. Let's see. Friends, you are the best. Narhi Kenny. Okay, cool. I like all the emojis. Pretty cool. Let's see. Do. Oh, whoops. I meant to put a different one up here. Let's see. The Other Comic Guy, Drew Eisner Miller, is a great book for anyone interested in writing comics. Lots of insight. Is there a comic? Is there a book called Drew? Or, I mean, I know Eisner's written a book about making comics, and I don't know, Miller? Like Frank Miller. It's not Frank Miller, is it? Like he didn't, as far as I know, I didn't know that he wrote any books on writing. But if he did, I would want to read it. That's for sure. Maybe he has. I just might not know. But well, here we go. Drew says, "Oh, you were talking to Drew. Okay." And you said Eisner Miller is a great book for anyone interested in writing comics. I still am not sure though. But yeah. Thanks again, Comics Guy. Any suggestions are great. I hit these walls while drawing my comic because I don't do enough writing. Yeah, so do I. I really enjoy writing, but it's definitely easier for me to sit down and draw than it is to sit down and write. Same here. I think I said that before too. Let's see. Yes, Frank and Will about comics in general, guys. I still like. I want to know what this book is because I don't know. I don't know what you're specifically talking about. I didn't know that Frank Miller made a book about writing comics, or maybe I'm just not thinking of it or something. I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Frank Miller writing comics. That's probably not going to bring it up. Let me just put the word "on" in there. Frank Miller on writing comics. I don't think it's going to. Thinking clearly. Let's see. Reputation, progressive. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything, but maybe I'm not Googling the right thing. Let's see. Where is the stream? Here it is. Let's see. Eisner Miller is the title. Huh. Well, I'm going to look that up then. Eisner Miller. Book by Frank Miller and Will Eisner. Wow. Like they both collaborated on a book? Oh man, I have to buy this and read it. Are you kidding me? I'm going to put this in my cart right now. Let's see. And it's not even that expensive. Y'all got to check that out, yo. So it's good, right? I'm assuming. Or is it expensive? I don't even know. Let's see. It's in my cart now. I hope there's one left in stock. I want to buy it before you guys buy it. Oh my gosh. I'm not even signed up. You guys can buy it. Wow. I want to get it though. I'm not signed in. I have to do it on my phone because that's signed in. Let's see if I can find it. Oh boy. All right, you guys, it's a race. It's a race. See if you can sign up for it before I can. Eisner Miller. Or did I write it wrong? Miller Eisner. Eisner Miller. Let's see. Paperback. One left in stock. Order soon. But I want to go back to the listing. It looked like there's more listings. $121 for the paperback. Oh my gosh. All right. You know what? If I buy it, then I can show you guys. $279. What? All right. Let's see if I can get it before anybody else gets it. I'm not trying to do that, but then I can show you guys stuff. Is this a good seller, a good rated seller? I mean, I guess they're authorized by Amazon. It looks right. So let's see. Can I buy it? This is such a weird moment in Marsh Makes Comics history. It's $20. The thing is I just bought something and I don't really want to. I really shouldn't be purchasing stuff right now anyways, so because I don't have a job. So I'll let you guys get it. One of these days I'll see if I can get my hands on it. $60 on eBay. Oh man, maybe I should get it. Place your order. Did I get it? Order placed. Oh man. All right, I just bought it. Oh my gosh. Oh well. Be sure it's in your language. Oh, good point. Did I buy it in my language? I might have to return it. Oh boy. See all the details. Let's see. I mean, it better be in my language. There's some used ones. There's 16 of them used. So other people can get it. So that's good. And they're not too expensive. And some of the used say new. So I don't care if mine's used or not, but yeah, Amazon. It's on Amazon. You can get them used. So anyways, wow. That was fun. I don't usually buy stuff when I stream. Let's see. Give us your Amazon wish list in the description. I should. My wife is gonna ground me. Yeah, well, I can do what I want, but I'm trying not to spend money, I guess I'm not trying hard enough. So anyways, you guys have been great. This has been a great discussion. I think it's been awesome. I think it's been fun. I'll be back next Tuesday with something, probably another live stream, most likely. Yeah, we're going to keep this thing going. I've been going pretty good for every Tuesday. So, hope you guys, yeah, I can return it. You can always technically return it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll decide to return it. You guys will find out next Tuesday. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for all your suggestions and for all your comments. This has been a really fun stream. Jim Lujan, I want you on my show again. And I'll probably be asking some other people too soon here. But since he was talking about some stuff, I was like, it'd be fun to have him on again. So anyways, yeah, everybody, you guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.